Good morning, folks. It is Tuesday, the 22nd of February. This is Flat Cap Callum. I'm hoping you are all very, very well. All right, today we've got 4 bets, normal staking day, £20 day. I'm probably going to give a quick early mention on the golf because there's a price particularly I want to get out there. So I'm not going to do the full golf bet today. The full golf bet will be tomorrow, but there's one particular golfer that I'm thinking the value might reduce slightly, and there's tons in there now, so I'm going to put it out early as a single now, and I'll do the full golf bet tomorrow. Okay, before we do that, we'll do a review of yesterday. Profitable day is the headline, I guess. We made 20% profit, so 20 on, 24.08 back, so it was a profitable day. Masks the real difference between some of the bets, so we'll quickly spin through. So the Carlisle bet, it was the low risk but low value, and two placed, and the other two were one out the placings. So didn't quite get there. We got 188 back for the £6 on, so it was only a third back. So a losing bet, but wasn't far off from getting a bit of money. Then the Dundalk special, terribly disappointing. They literally all underperformed. To not even get a place on one of those is really disappointing. So that was frustrating. And then the last bet, which was the 2 Newcastle, 2 Dundalk. Velma, horse of the day. I said it on the channel yesterday. By far and away, by a million, it was the best value of the day. 20-1 we had on the channel. I know some of you got more than that. Certainly drifted. I saw it. SP'd at 16s. The fact we did a separate single on that, and it was on the lucky 15, meant that alone put us into profit for the day, because straight out of Compton wasn't close. The other two, I would do just a word on Maestro Stick, because Lady Sands was really poor. Maestro Stick, watch it next time out. I'm very likely to put it in a bet again, as long as the price is right. That wasn't supposed to be some sort of 80s throwback, by the way. So Maestro Stick, 50-1. We've found it twice now, 50-1. If you watch the race, and the write-up does do it justice, sometimes it doesn't always explain what happened. It lost loads of lengths at the start. It caught them up. It was then looking like it was going to come, and they were making a real great effort for it. And it got completely boxed in. It only finished 7th. Obviously, fifth with a put my teeth back in. 5th with a dunners for the bet. So as long as that's double figures next time, I'm definitely likely to put it into a bet, Maestro Stick, particularly if it's a mile Dundalk. That's what I'm looking at. Not anywhere, a mile Dundalk. So overall, as I said, 20 on, 24.08 back. So it was profitable. Nice way to start the week. Frustrating that we had some of them weren't anywhere near. But Velma was my strongest bet of the day. And I'm on a nice little run, to be fair. The last few I've put out as the strongest bet of the day have been decent. That's the first one that's won. So 20-1 on the channel winner was a nice way to go. I have got one today that I like, not as much as Velma in terms of the value. Now, I think most of you get this now. I'm not talking about the chances of winning. I'm talking about the value in the price. 20-1 on that yesterday was the best I've seen since last Thursday. I think it was Frontal Assault, and it got nabbed on the line at 14s. Got one today, not quite as good as those in terms of value. The price is a little bit bigger. So, what am I talking about? Bet 1, which is the main bet in terms of amount of stake. So this is all Taunton, a Taunton lucky 15. So there's some decent handicaps at Taunton today. And you'll see there's some really decent prices in this bet. So 120, Casper's Court 25. Like that price, good, really nice price. Sky Bet are paying 6s, but this bet definitely worth doing with other bookmakers. It's basically a bit of a bonus with Sky Bet paying some of these. I don't think the bigger prices are going to massively drift, so I'm not looking at SP taking here. I'm happy with 25s for Casper's Court. 305, I can never pronounce that name. Mulcahy's Hill, 11-1. Sky Bet are paying 4 on there. And then the bottom two are the best two. So 415 Arizona Glory. No extra places on this race, but 14-1 is a really nice price. I like that. And then the horse of the day, as I said, not as strong as Velma in terms of value, even though the price is bigger. But I really like this bet. So if you were only going to take one bet off me today, and it was a single bet, do you feel lucky? 28s is definitely worth a go. Sky Bet are paying 5 places. I think quite a few bookmakers are paying 4 on that. So we've got 20p each way, lucky 15, 50p each way single just on Do You Feel Lucky, and then a 25p each way double on the bottom two. So hopefully that's clear. Lucky 20. I can't speak today. 20p each way, lucky 15. The whole thing. The extra single on Do You Feel Lucky, and the extra double on the bottom two. That's 750. All right. Then bet 2. This is definitely the one that most of you won't want to touch. It's a real risky bet. And I'll explain why I've done it. So these are 4 races. It is a lucky 15 I'm doing it as. They all are only playing 2 places. So there's 5, 6, 7 runner races. But there's some value in those prices. It's marginal, but I'd say there's value in it. So I've done it as a lucky 15. Now, things I would put as kind of caveats on here. Top one is the weakest one. So originally I wrote this as a tricksy bet. And I wrote it as a tricksy bet on the basis, and this might be a lower risk, lower cost bet for some of you, just doing the market raising ones. Marsh Wren, that second one, that looks like an absolute cert to be top 2. So that's sort of like a kind of nice solid bit in there. The other 3 are all risky. If you had Marsh Wren place with one of the others place, you basically get your money back if it was a tricksy bet. If clearly all 3 place, you make a really, really nice profit. This bet, if you get Marsh Wren and one of the others place, we probably get half our money back, a little bit more than that if it's the bigger prices. You need 3 to place to make a profit. So it's a much riskier bet. So I'm doing it like this on the channel. I'm saying there's another way of doing it with spending less money, less stake, just doing the 3 market raisins. The best one for value, definitely Walk in the Shoes. I know these 2 are the same prices. That's the best one for value. 28 to 1 on that horse is much better than 28 to 1 on that horse in my view. So we've got there 155 Taunton, Kalina Star, 28 to 1, 210 market raisin, Marsh Wren, 3 to 1, 320 market raisin, Getaway North, 14 to 1, and 430 market raisin, Walk in the Stars, 28 to 1. So I'm just doing 15p each way lucky. The absolute odds on, I'm going to come back on tomorrow and tell you this bet was a losing bet, but I feel like it's worth a little go at some of those prices. Okay, bet 3. Going over to Ireland. This is the rearranged meeting at Navan. It's a really nice meeting. There's some nice races, but the value I can't see it in the same way as I can in Taunton. And there's a few things I'll draw your attention to. So some of you might expect me to be putting in the 220 here because Sky Bet are paying 5 places. It's not a handicap race. It's a rated hurdle race. So most bookmakers will pay 3. Some will do 4. Sky Bet are 5. I am not touching the 220 because I don't see value in that race. So just because there's extra places doesn't mean there's always value. So I won't always just put a bet on for the sake of it. I would much rather have that 515 Clark Kent paying 3 places at 10s than anything in that 220. And I literally mean anything at any price. So that is a better bet. I'm not saying that's a really strong bet. I like that horse, and I think that's overpriced. The other thing I was going to flag on this bet is a top one. So that Dragon's Pass, when they originally scheduled to run this meeting at the weekend, that horse opened at 33 to 1, had an absolute stack load of money, and just before the race was declared, the meeting was declared abandonment, it gone into 3 to 1 favourite. So there was a massive liability on that horse. This time it's opened up sort of about 10s. It's still going in. There's not a lot of value in 6 to 1, but I didn't want to leave it out because I really think if you look at course and distance form on heavy, it's a great bet, even at 6s in the context of that. So it's not a single bet, but in here. So hopefully you understand what I'm saying, and I haven't rambled on and over explained that. So we've got 255 Dragons Pass 6s, 330. I didn't like anything at the top at all. I think it's a hard race to kind of read, so I'm chancing a price at Burntash at 33s because I think it's definitely overpriced. It might not get anywhere, but it's worth the price at 33s. 450 Dubai Devils, prices coming on that one a little bit disappointing. It was double figures last night, only 7s, but still worth its place in the bet. And as I said, Clark Kent 10 to 1. It's the second string of Willie Mullins, but I think that should do decent. I'd be surprised if it doesn't make the frame, but there's a lot of runners in the race, and anything can go in those. So that's bet 3, and then bet 4. Some of you might be expecting a Southwell each way lucky 15 because there's extra place races at Southwell. I didn't like most of them, so I've got an evening double. That's all we've got at Southwell tonight. Got 6 o'clock Caroline Dale, only 2 places on that race. 6 to 1, and then 6:30 paying 4 places party planner 22s. I wouldn't be looking at mixing those with any of the other ones. I wasn't feeling it at Southwell tonight, whatever reason. I wasn't seeing the value. Those two are the best two for me. So we've got a 50p each way double on the 2 and a 50p each way single on party planner. And that's by no way as strong as the 28 one I've already talked about. So just because it's a price and I'm putting a single on it, it's just the context of the bet there. So if that one places, we make profit on that bet. Clearly, if they both place, we make a nice profit, and if they both win, we'll be dancing tonight. Okay, that is it. And then I was going to say a word on the golf. So let me just get, because there's quite a few with different similar names on the golf. Brandon Hagee, that's the one I want you to go and have a look at. You can get 200 to 1 at the moment. There's a ton of value in Brandon Hagee. So that's Hagee, Hagy, and that's Brandon as opposed to Brendan or any other variation. Brandon Hagee, 200 to 1. It's going to be in the staking plan tomorrow. I'm not saying go big on it, but there's so much value in 200 to 1. I'd be having that in tomorrow's staking plan, 50 to 1, 66 to 1. There's a lot of value in 200 to 1. So he will be part of the bets tomorrow. We're going to have 5 in the Honda Classic, and a couple in the Seniors Tour. Well, actually, maybe 3 in the Seniors Tour. We are going to go there again. So, but Honda Classic, there's some really, really good value in that race in that tournament. But Brandon Hagee, that's the one I'm saying to you now, because it will be in there tomorrow. But if the price is lower, it will still be in. But I want to see if you can get 200s or more. And I say 200s. That's paying at Sky Bet 5th of the odds, 8 places. For those sorts of tournaments, 8 places, 50 odds is a really, really good bet for 200 to 1. So don't go big, but have a little look is what I'm saying. Rest of the golf tomorrow. Results of today, tomorrow. We'll find out how that goes. And that's where I'll leave you. See you in the morning. Thanks very much.